to my channel. So today we are sitting down and we're doing one of my favorite videos that I like to do a couple times throughout the year. And since it's September, it is almost fall time. So we're going to be talking about the best palettes for fall. I have quite the large group of palettes here. I've got quite a few to talk about. So if you like this video while you're watching it, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really does help my channel out. And other than that, if you're excited and you want to hear about the palettes that I think are perfect for fall, then let's go ahead and get started. I told you guys in my last Get Ready With Me that I was getting my hair cut and I was gonna chop it, and I meant it. I chopped it off, which I've had it this short before, but I don't think I've ever had it this short like while I had a YouTube channel. I believe the last time I had it this short was like 4 years ago, and I've only had my channel for like 2 years, so you guys have probably not seen it this short before, but yeah, I chopped it off. I like it. It's a change. I needed a change. I wanted something different, and I'm hoping I won't wear it up all of the time now that it is chopped off and like kind of too short to wear it up. So like I said, we're gonna be talking about the best palettes for fall time. I've done this video in the past, so there might be some overlap if you have seen that video last year, but I have definitely some newer ones that have came into my collection since then as well. So let's start with the one that I actually have on my eyes today, and it is like the most fall-y palette I feel like I own of all fall palettes, and it is the Nomad by Juvia's Place. First of all, the packaging just kind of screams fall, but also the inside colors are just like the bee's knees for fall. I love these tones, these warm, rich, like orangey, yellowy, greeny sort of tones. These are like my jam in the fall time, as I'm sure they are for a lot of you guys. I feel like I have quite a few different color stories. Some are more berry, some are more like orangey, you know, warm tones. So I have a nice variety in this video, I feel like, for you guys, but this one is just so stinking good. I mainly have this shade and this shade in my crease and on the outer corner, and then I have this stunning shimmer shade on my lid, and it is just so beautiful. Every time I use this palette, I love it. The lighting is changing. I'm so sorry. Working with natural light like always, and the sun goes in and out and it is changing. So sorry about that. But just when you look at this palette, like, come on, it screams fall, right? It's absolutely beautiful. It's super affordable. I believe it's still available on Ulta's website. I went ahead and checked before I sat down to film and used it today, so I will have it linked down below. I'll have all of these palettes linked down below, as well as all the other makeup I have on my face. I don't love my base makeup today, I'm not gonna lie. I retried out the Uoma Say What foundation. I hadn't used it in a while, and I don't like it. I didn't like it last time I used it. Hadn't used it in a while, wanted to pull it out and use it again to collect my thoughts on it, and I still don't like it. So don't look too closely at my base makeup. But like I said, everything will be linked down below for you. They are affiliate links. If you shop through them, you're awesome. Thank you so much. I also have a mixture of like high-end, luxury, affordable drugstore sort of palettes, and I'm really not going in any particular order. They're just stacked up beside me, and I'm gonna grab and go. So it's gonna be kind of random. But next we have the Natasha Denona. This is the mini Zendo palette. I just think these tones are so cute for this time of year. The silver is like the one of the 5 here that I'm like, I don't know if it's like super, super fall-y to have silver. That's more like a wintry holiday sort of color, but all of these rich tones right here are just so beautiful. These two together, well, this one, like, this is my go-to look with this palette. You put this in the crease, you put this on the outer corner and up into the crease, and this on the lid, and it is the most beautiful, like, warm, corally sort of color story, and it is stunning. And these are pretty affordable for like a high-end luxury sort of eyeshadow palette. I know it's Natasha Denona, but these are $27. I said they were $29 in one of my other videos, but they're $27. So not super, super affordable, especially for 5 shades, but you're getting Natasha Denona quality for not that much money in my personal opinion. So the color story on this is just so beautiful. I love it. Then we have one here from Colourpop that, I mean, it's Colourpop, so it's semi-affordable. It's $34, but you get a lot of shades. It is the Bare Necessities palette. I never really had my eye on this, and then they did send it to me in PR, and I was really, really blown away by the quality of it after I used it from it being sent to me in PR. This is a really good palette, quality-wise, and just like I said, you have every shade you would possibly need. You have some cool tones, you have some warm tones, you have some berries, some more like rusty sort of shades, some oranges, some more neutral shades. Like any sort of fall-y look you would ever want to make, you could make with this palette. You also have a black to deepen it up and smoke it out if you want to. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't touched it. I really don't use black shadows in palettes very often, but this is like the good quality from Colourpop. Sometimes it's hit or miss, and this is a hit, and I really recommend it for you. Pretty much all year round. Like, you could definitely get looks all year round with this palette, but almost dropped it. But especially this upcoming fall season. Then we have two here from Anastasia Beverly Hills. One of them I'm 99% sure I went ahead and mentioned in my last fall video last year, and then one is newer to me. So I'll go ahead and talk about the new one first, and it is the Nouveau palette. This just packaging screams fall, but the inside does as well. Minus the purple, because that's like not super fall-y. But everything else in this palette just is those warm, rich tones that I like to wear around this time of year. And upon first glance, you might not see the variety in this palette, but I feel like it definitely has some depth and variety to it. You have some greens here, but you also have pink tones if you want that. You have some bronzies, some oranges. Like you could go in quite a few different directions with color looks with this sort of palette. And the other one is like one of my favorite palettes from them ever, and it is the Primrose palette. This palette just brings me joy. Whenever I look at it, it just makes me happy. There's just something about this color story. All the warm tones that you get, these like super intense foil like shimmers that you get here, the two blushes that go with your eye looks like perfectly. There's just something about this palette that makes me so happy, and whenever I use it, I love my look. They're pretty much all going to be warm tones, which is kind of the more vibe I like to go in the fall time anyways. I usually like cool tone makeup, not gonna lie, but the fall time is when I like to dabble more into those warm tones, and this just gives it to me. I love this palette. Like I said, kind of like the other one, every time I use this, I just feel like so pretty, and I love my looks. Also, it just got real dirty. Well, you know, it's used and loved. All right, flipping the switch a little bit color story wise, we're going to get into a little bit more of those berry tones. Another color story that I really like to dabble into in the fall winter time. Honestly, there's like a couple different ways I like to go, either more berry tone, more neutrally warm tone, or those like mustardy orange sort of shades. It's just kind of whatever mood I'm in, but those are the type of shades like I just really love to reach for this time of year. I'm sure I'm not alone in that. The next one I want to talk about is the Sigma Nomad palette. This is a little bit newer to me. I've only used it once. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. But the one time I used it, I was actually really impressed by the quality of it. I'm excited to use it more. I know quite a few of you guys asked me for a 1 week 1 palette on this, and it's still in my plans to make. I just have to do it. I just haven't, sat down and filmed it quite yet. And then now at this point, I have to wait for my October schedule to figure out when I'm going to be able to do it, because I'm too busy the rest of September. I know that sounds like, oh, I'm too busy, but like legitimately, I am too busy. But anyways, this is the most beautiful, like berry toned color story. I really enjoyed it. I wanted this palette pretty much when it first launched, and then I forced myself to wait for a sale, which I'm glad I did because I think I got 40% off. But the shimmers in here are like so pretty. The mattes are really nice as well. So I'm excited to keep dabbling into this beauty. And then another one that's a little bit less berry tone but still has that sort of vibe to it is the Nudie 2 from Lee Los Angeles. I feel like this is a really underrated palette. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, and it is stunning. The mattes blend together so nicely, and you have pretty much any matte shade that you would need. And then the shimmers are so pretty. You have these two gold tones here that are just absolutely stunning, and then these two more like toppery ones that are like really impactful, if you can see. This is a great little palette, and Lee Los Angeles has sales, I feel like, really often on her website. And if you had your eye on it, or you were just looking for like the most perfect little fall palette, I recommend this one. Then I wanted to talk about one of the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions palettes. Honestly, I feel like you could use either one of them around this time of year, but I did go ahead and choose the first one just because it's a little bit more of those neutrally sort of tones that I feel like a lot of people would gravitate towards. I personally like the second one better, but it's more rosy tones, and I wanted to have just a all neutral sort of palette to talk about, and I feel like this is pretty much the only one of those that I was going to mention. This is still a really great palette, even though, like I said, I like the second one better, but the Patrick Ta mattes are so buttery smooth, and the shimmers are actually really beautiful as well. I don't really reach for this one very much. It's more of like a matte with shimmers in it. I don't know, not my jam, but these four are absolutely beautiful, and they go with the mattes down here so nicely. And these are gonna give you like the warm tones that you want this time of year with those really special, impactful shimmers that I personally want all year round. Except we have a palette that you might not automatically think of like fall in this time of year when you look at it, but if you really break it down, I personally think it's perfect for this time of year, and it's the Heather Austin and Adept palette. First of all, the packaging just kind of screams fall to begin with, but also the color story is really beautiful as well. I feel like this is good for fall because it's like the best of both worlds. You have those more like grungy, yellowy, greeny sort of tones, which I obviously like to wear in fall, but then you also have brown and burgundy, which are beautiful. And then these shimmers, stunning. I feel like if you cover up this blue, because when I was looking at this, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to talk about that palette because the blue is just so bright. It's kind of where your eye immediately goes, and I don't really think of blue eyeshadow when I think of like autumn and this time of year. But if you kind of cover that up, everything else is really, really perfect for this time of year. The tones that I personally like to reach for, and these shimmers are out of this world. I definitely have not shown this palette enough love on my channel or in general. I just have a lot of eyeshadow palettes, you guys. I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes, but when I use the quality is absolutely stunning, and these shimmers are like seriously some of the most impactful, stunning shimmers I've ever used. Like, they are top notch. And what's an eyeshadow palette video without mentioning a Pat McGrath Mothership? A lot of you guys are like, no girl, I don't own them. They're very expensive, which I totally understand. I try to get all mine on sale, and then I have been lucky to be given a few from a friend. But I wanted to talk about this one right here, which is called Midnight Sun. This screams fall. Whenever I open it and look at it, just everything about this palette, again, kind of covering up this like blue purpley shade, that is a fall palette dream. Oh my goodness. And this quality is pretty good. I know sometimes I talk crap about Pat McGrath mattes because they're just not the best on me. These are okay. They still get a little bit patchy, but I do like to use these two. I don't reach for this dark one too often, but this orange and this gold and even these two right here, so pretty. One of my favorite looks is to put this in the crease and then deepen it with this crease and then just put this beautiful orangey sort of shade all over the lid. And it is simple and quick and impactful and looks like you spent a lot of time on your eye look, but you did not. So if you're going to splurge on a Pat McGrath Mothership coming up, maybe sometime soon when she has a sale, because she's been having sales like left and right, so, which is good, I'm glad. But if you wanted to splurge on one that you were hoping to get a lot of use out of around the next couple of months, I definitely recommend Midnight Sun. And then last but not least, we have this one here from Scott Barnes. This is his just natural palette, I believe. Eyeshadow palette, a natural, a #1. I saved this for last because it's not my favorite eyeshadow palette. I'm not going to lie. I've used it 2 or 3 times at this point. If you saw my trying Scott Barnes video a couple videos ago, you saw me kind of struggle with this. I think it's perfect for fall. Like when you look at the color story, like these are just all the tones that like I do like to reach for in the fall. I guess my main qualm with it was that the shimmers are all very dark, and I personally like to have a little bit lighter of a shimmer on my eyelid. But I definitely need to reach for this more. And I think if you have either a different eyeshadow preference than me, like you like more darker shadows, or you have a little bit deeper skin tone than me and they work out better on you and your preference and your eyelids and just it looks better on you, I think you would really like this because the quality was there. I just don't know how much I love the shimmers with the mattes, if that makes sense. But regardless, it's a nice palette and it's been super on sale here recently. I think Scott Barnes is kind of like gonna revamp his whole line, and so I got this 40% off, but now he's having like a 50% off sale. I got a email the other day, so you could get this for like a really good deal if you're interested in it. Like I said, the quality is nice, just not my perfect palette, but that's okay. I still wanted to mention it because the shades are like perfect for fall. Now, so you guys, that was a whole bunch of palettes that are perfect for autumn. I just said fall like 50,000 times. You probably were like, say something else. I feel like that was a little repetitive in this video. It's hard when you're sitting down and you're talking about something that's like all the same, like perfect palettes for fall or perfect neutral palettes or anything like that, because it's like there's only so many things you can say about all the palettes that are different. Just know pretty much all of these, I love the quality, I love my looks when I make them, and I will be reaching for them in the next couple of months, and I'm excited to do so. Let me know down below in the comments, what is your favorite palette for fall? What's the one that you just constantly reach for this time of year and you're like excited to pull out and use in the next couple of months? If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You're awesome and I love you. Please subscribe if you have not yet, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye guys.